I eased my SUV to a stop at the end of the dusty driveway leading to my parents' sprawling ranch outside Albuquerque, New Mexico. The sun hung high over the Sandia Mountains, casting a golden glow on the adobe walls and the old cottonwood trees that had shaded my childhood. It had been 6 months since I'd last dragged myself here for one of these family ordeals, and nothing had changed: the perfectly maintained corral, the gleaming horse trailers, and that invisible cloud of expectations hanging over everything. I took a deep breath, checked my makeup in the visor mirror, and stepped out. My boots crunched on the gravel as I headed inside. The house smelled of mesquite smoke and Mom's signature lavender sachets. I followed the clatter to the kitchen, where Elizabeth Hayes was arranging silverware on the long oak table. "Claire, you made it," she said, barely looking up from the place settings.
No immerse.
Just a nod, like I was a guest who'd shown up uninvited. "Help with the glasses? Your dad's finishing the ribs." I obliged, pulling crystal tumblers from the cabinet while scanning the room. Photos crowded the mantel. Parker at Stanford graduation. Parker accepting some venture capital award. Parker shaking hands with the governor. One faded shot of me from high school rodeo days, shoved to the side like an afterthought. Dad emerged from the backyard grill, tongs in hand, his face ruddy from the heat. "Ribs are smokin' hot," he boomed. Not quite to me. He wore his King of the Grill apron, a gift from Parker ages ago. "Smells amazing," I said. Even though Andrew Hayes' ribs were always tougher than boot leather, a family secret we all pretended not to notice. Mom fluttered around, tweaking the cloth napkins. "Parker's running late. Texted about a call with Silicon Valley." Of course, Parker could be tardy. His time was gold in this house. As if on cue, the front door banged open, and Parker's voice echoed through the hall. "Hey, folks." He sauntered in, dressed in a crisp button-down that screamed tech mogul, even on a lazy Sunday. Mom lit up like a Christmas cactus. "There's my boy." She hugged him tight while Dad slapped his back. "Sorry for the delay," Parker said, rolling up his sleeves. "Wrapping up that Ventura merger." Dad grinned wide. "That's my son, always sealing the deal." We sat down, Dad at the head, Mom on his right, Parker on his left, me staring at the wall. Dad carved the ribs with gusto. Mom passed sides like it was a ritual. "So, Parker," Dad said, piling the best cuts on his plate. "How's life for New Mexico's startup star?" Parker chuckled, digging in. "Not bad. Just locked in 9-figure funding. And I've got my eye on real estate, a modern spread up near Santa Fe. 6 million. Panoramic views. Infinity pool. The works. Perfect for entertaining investors." Dad whistled. "Prime land. When's the viewing?" "Tuesday. Should close by week's end." Mom and Dad beamed like he'd hung the moon. I poked at my plate, the dry ribs catching in my throat. "How about you, Claire?" Mom asked, like she'd just remembered I existed. "That little online boutique still going?" I swallowed. "Actually, I've been looking at properties too." The laughter erupted instantly. Dad's guffaw, Mom's titter, Parker's snort. "Good one, sis," Parker said, wiping his mouth. "Stick to your knickknacks." Dad's face turned serious. "It's cute, honey, but time for a real career." Mom murmured agreement. Parker leaned back. "Hey, I'm investing in this hot ecom play, Desert Bloom. They'll wipe out all the hobby shops." The memory slammed me. Me at 20, clutching my business plan in Dad's den, heart pounding. "What do you think?" I'd asked. He'd glanced it over. "Sweet idea, darlin'." But Parker had just scored at Deloitte. That night, I vowed to keep my dreams locked away. Years of grinding followed, packing orders in a sweltering garage at midnight, losing my $60,000 savings to a shady vendor, juggling jobs to rebuild while they thought I was playing shop. Mom pushed store-bought pecan pie my way. Dessert? You look peaky. I forced a smile, the one that never reached my eyes. They never saw through it. If they knew my boutique, Sage Haven, had pulled in $40 million last year, featured in lifestyle mags, employing 50 folks who actually valued me. I stood. Gotta head out. Work calls.
Parker smirked.
Selling doodads. Mom trailed me to the door with leftovers. Since you probably don't cook much. In my SUV, hands shaking on the wheel, something cracked inside. Enough, I whispered. I called Riley, my COO. How was dinner? He asked. Parker's after that Santa Fe place. $6 million. Silence. I want it.
His voice warmed.
About damn time. The road stretched ahead, vast and open, like possibility. Sage Haven's headquarters in downtown Albuquerque gleamed like success incarnate. Monday morning, Riley stood by the expansive windows, overlooking our sleek space, minimalist desks, vibrant displays of our artisanal home decor, candles infused with desert scents, woven throws, ceramic vases, each piece a quiet defiance. He turned, quarterly reports in hand. Growth steady. Margins envy-worthy. Future bright. 9 figures.
No hobby.
The elevator dinged, and I stepped in, still in yesterday's clothes, resolve stealing my spine. How rough? Riley asked. They laughed at me house hunting. He scowled. He'd heard the stories. A team member approached with pottery samples. Milan shipments in. Thought you'd want first look. I softened. Thanks. Amber. Perfect for fall. Set a production meet. She nodded, retreating. Here, respect flowed freely.
5 years, Riley said.
And they still think you're tinkering. I gazed at the skyline. Parker mentioned funding Desert Bloom, our rival. Riley winced. He's gunning for us blind. We'd met when I was bootstrapping. Him, a burnout consultant. He took a leap on me. That Santa Fe spread, he said. You serious? I can swing it. Fact. Not brag. When they learn, I'm done hiding. This wasn't vengeance. It was claiming my space. We pored over listings in the conference room, coffee fueling us. No contract yet, Riley said. Agent's a contact from our charity gala. Viewing tomorrow. I study the photos, clean lines, glass walls, views of Red Rock canyons. Parker's dream. All cash. Through LLC. Riley grinned. Let's build on those knickknacks. Doubt flickered as we planned. Expedited close. Anonymous bid. But signing that offer felt like shedding chains. Submit it, I told Riley. He watched me leave. A mix of pride and worry. The haze had a storm coming. A week later, the realtor's boots echoed on the hardwood as she toured us through the empty estate. Riley whispered commentary, lightening the gravity. Cash offer sealed it. Your brother didn't have a prayer. I traced the granite counters in the chef's kitchen, imagining gatherings here. Sun poured through walls of windows, framing the vast western landscape. Sellers jumped, Riley said, testing the smart fridge. No other bid stuck. Some investor needed loans. Parker's frustrated face danced in my mind. We climbed the open riser stairs to the master suite, a sanctuary with 3-sided views and a spa bath larger than my old condo. Your realm, Riley said softly. I envision my touches, Sage Haven pieces,
Personal art.
Poetic idea, he added. Mischievous. Housewarming bash.
Invite Atlanta Elite. Er.
Albuquerque's movers, and your family. Let em admire before the big reveal. I pictured Mom fingering the fixtures, Dad praising the build, Parker appraising values. Oblivious. Brilliant. And wicked. The next week's blurred, designers transforming spaces with my vision, earth tones. Local artisan accents, our products spotlighted. I dropped by parents for obligatory coffee, overhearing Parker's rant in Dad's office. Some cash buyer stole it. My perfect spot, gone before financing cleared. You'll snag better, Mom soothed. I'll call my banker pals, Dad added. I slipped away. Intel in pocket. A quiet thrill building. Invites went out. Elegant cards. Address only. No host. Riley and I curated the list, business bigwigs plus my unsuspecting kin. Mom called next day. Claire, you get one too? West Side estate warming. Maybe Parker's contact. I bit back a laugh. Yeah. Intriguing. Come network. Good for you. That patronizing tone. I'll be there. They bit hard. Party night. I stood in my suite. Mirror reflecting a silk dress worth a small fortune. Armor for the reveal. Hair loose. Makeup flawless. Downstairs. Caterers bustled. A jazz trio tuned up. Guests arrived in waves, venture capitalists, designers, locals in cowboy chic. Then my family, Dad in his best BOLO tie, Mom in pearls, Parker scanning like he owned the place. I mingled incognito at first, overhearing praise for the decor, our products drawing raves. These vases? Stunning craftsmanship. Mom touched one. Lovely taste. Dad nodded at the architecture. Solid build. Millions well spent. Parker calculated aloud. Prime investment. Wonder who snagged it. Riley caught my eye, I nodded.
Time.
I ascended the stairs midpoint, glass in hand, tapping it for attention. The room hushed. Welcome to my home. Gasps rippled. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. Dad blinked. Parker's jaw dropped. 6 million, I continued. Cash from my little boutique. Sage Haven hit 40 mil last year. A design editor approached. Claire. Brilliant space. We featured your line, game changer. My family froze as congrats flowed. Parker cornered me at the bar. Gripped tight on his whiskey. What the hell? No way you pulled this. Silent partner? Loan shark. I met his gaze. My earnings. Alone. His shock was palpable. Why not loop me in? I could have optimized tax shelters. The works. You never asked. Dismissed it all. He backed off. Joining Dad in a huddle. Glancing my way. Mom air kissed me. Such a surprise. We knew you had potential. Dad chimed. Impressive. Tell us your strategy. Scaling without VCs. Too late. Long story. The shift hit. Them pursuing me. Riley intercepted awkward chats. Overheard whispers. Parker's firm struggling. Lost accounts. Underperformed big. I filed it away. Not planned, but leverage. As the night wound down, I reflected amid the buzz. This wasn't just triumph, it hinted at cracks in their facade. Vulnerability I hadn't expected. 3 months of smart plays turned Sage Haven into an industry force. In my office, Riley slid reports. Supply deals locked, 6 of Desert Bloom's vendors ours ethically. No cutthroat tactics, fair acquisitions under antitrust scrutiny. Analysts hailed us as the ethical disruptor. Desert Bloom's pivots looked desperate, Riley noted. A ping. Warehouse lease up for grabs. Parker's investment teetered. We bid clean. Boardroom. Team assembled. Acquisition terms compliant, counsel said. Assets at fair market. I signed. Owning our rival legally. No bankruptcy force, just strategic buyout. Industry mag headline. Desert Bloom sells amid struggles. Parker's name flagged. Mismanagement questions. Mom's calls escalated. I silenced most, but curiosity built. Riley, closure. I scheduled Sunday. 5 p.m., old dinner time. Symbolic. They arrived defeated. Dad slumped. Mom teary. Parker disheveled. I waited atop the stairs.
Come in. No hospitality.
In the living room, silence stretched. Dad spoke. Claire, we need help. I arched a brow. Mom, Parker's lost it all. Details? Parker muttered, etsom bet. Desert Bloom. I leaned in. Our competitor. We acquired fairly after their stumbles. You invested family savings.
Shock?
We're family, Mom pleaded. Anger flared, but pity stirred. Their golden image shattered. I stood.
Door open.
Leave. But as they shuffled out, something twisted. Not satisfaction, regret? The door clicked shut, echoing in the empty hall. 3 months later, sunlight streamed through my Santa Fe windows, warming the terracotta tiles. The living room felt settled, a Navajo blanket on the sofa. Local pottery from our line. Wildflowers in a vase. I reviewed swatches with Riley. Q3 beat forecasts by 18%, he said. Ecolines flying off shelves. I smiled, real. Unforced. Authenticity sells. We discussed expansions, a Colorado maker with sustainable practices. Higher costs, but ethical sourcing resonates. An award nod came. Innovator of the Year. My phone buzzed, Mom again. Riley watched. I silenced it, but memories lingered. Their shock. My coldness. Better fabric, I said, refocusing. Evening brought friends for dinner. Riley, our designer, her partner. Laughter filled the kitchen over homemade enchiladas.
No tensión.
Just belonging. Phone lit, missed calls. I set it down, but unease nod. Next day, another call. I answered. Claire? Mom's voice cracked. Please. What? Can we talk? In person. Hesitation.
Fine.
Here. Tomorrow. Riley raised brows later. Sure. Need to. They arrived humbled. I offered seats. Water, no more. Why now? Dad sighed. We were wrong. Dismissed you. Mom teared. Proud, but blind. Parker met my eyes. I was jealous. Your success highlighted my fails. Vulnerability hit. Desert Bloom. Bad bets. Lost savings. But that's on me. Silence. Why hide? Mom asked. You laughed. Never believed. Dad nodded. Our fault. Raised you tough. But unfairly. Emotions surged, hurt. Anger. But empathy. They'd pushed Parker as the star. Me as the shadow. But we were all products of that. I built this despite you. But cutting you out feels empty. Parker. Help? Advice. Not cash. I considered. Start small. Rebuild, honestly. We talked hours. Their regrets. My journey. No quick fix, but a bridge. As they left, Mom hugged tentatively. Love you. Me too. Door closed. Lighter. Riley called. How'd it go? Not revenge. Understanding. Lesson. Success shines brighter shared, even with flaws. Over weeks. Tentative men's. Dad visiting the office. Awestruck. This empire from nothing. Mom sending recipes.
Parker seeking mentorship.
Your model solid. Teach me. We collaborated on his pivot, ethical investing. Family dinners resumed. Balanced. Laughter genuine. Respect mutual. I hosted one. Ribs my way.
Tender.
Better than mine, Dad admitted. Parker raised a glass. To Claire, the real deal. The West's vast skies reminded, forgiveness heals deeper than vengeance. My home wasn't a trophy, it was a haven for growth. But shadows lingered. Whispers in business circles. Odd dealings with desert blooms fall. A vendor mentioned anonymous tips to regulators about their finances. Coincidence? Or had my acquisitions crossed lines? One night, an email, anonymous, alleging I'd leaked info to tank them. Heart racing. I called Riley. Anything off? All above board.
But
We did research deep. Paranoia? Or truth? Next day, a knock. FBI agent. MS. Hayes. Questions about corporate espionage.
shock. What?
Tips suggest Sage Haven manipulated Desert Bloom's collapse. Denials flew. Our lawyers scrambled. Evidence thin. But damage done. Reputation hit. Parker called.
Heard.
Need help. Irony. Now he offered. Investigations dragged. Clearing us. Legal. But aggressive tactics noted. Lesson deepened. Revenge's echoes linger. Humane paths avoid pitfalls. Family rallied. Dad's contacts. Mom's support. Parker's insights. We emerged stronger. Bonds forged in fire. Sunset over mountains. I stood on my porch. Empire intact. But wiser. Success isn't domination, it's balance. Integrity. Connection. The investigation wrapped with a warning. Watch boundaries. No charges. But the scare humbled me. I confided in family over coffee at the ranch. Pushed too hard. Dad nodded. We all have. Time to course correct. Parker, let's build together, ethically. We launched a joint venture, Sustainable Home Goods Fund, blending my expertise with his networks. Profits supported local artisans. Mom volunteered. Dad advised on land deals. Healing wasn't linear. Arguments flared. Old hurts resurfaced, but communication bridged gaps. One evening, hosting a community event at my estate, guests mingled under string lights. A neighbor approached. Your story inspires, rising above family strife. I glanced at my kin, laughing together. It's ongoing. Riley pulled me aside.
Proud.
This is real success. I agreed. The West taught resilience, but humanity tempered it. Months passed, business boomed ethically. Awards came, but fulfillment stemmed from mended ties. Lesson light, vengeance blinds, forgiveness illuminates paths forward.
Yet.
A mystery lingered.
Who sent the tip?
Late night. Digging emails. A familiar IP trace to Parker's old firm. Betrayal? Confrontation. You? He paled.
No.
Wait. A disgruntled ex-partner. Blamed me. Targeted you. Twist, not revenge. But ripple. We reported it. Justice served quietly. Bonds tested. Strengthened. Final dinner. Stars bright over desert. To family flawed. But ours. Clinks echoed. Home found not in houses, but hearts. I reflected on the journey from dismissal to empire, revenge to redemption. The American West spirit, vast, unforgiving, yet ripe for renewal. In the quiet aftermath, life settled into a rhythm of growth. Sage Haven expanded westward, opening boutiques in Denver and Phoenix, each infused with local culture, Navajo patterns in fabrics, cactus motifs in ceramics. Riley and I celebrated milestones with team retreats in the mountains, fostering the loyalty that had carried us through. Family dynamics evolved too. Parker rebuilt his career, this time with humility, focusing on impact investing. He credited our talks. "You showed me success isn't zero-sum." Mom and I bonded over gardening. She planted lavender at my estate, a symbol of fresh starts.
Dad.
Ever the rancher, taught me horseback riding again, sharing stories of his own youthful struggles. I pushed Parker to be what I couldn't. Hurt you in the process. One crisp autumn day, we gathered for a trail ride in the canyons. Laughter bounced off red rocks as we shared dreams openly, no judgments. "Thinking of a nonprofit arm," I said. Parker nodded. "Count me in." The sun dipped, painting the sky in fiery hues, mirroring our renewed warmth. But the story's heart lay in the lesson, in the pursuit of validation. I nearly lost sight of compassion. The shocking house by exposed fractures, but the unexpected reconciliation healed them. Revenge tempts with quick highs, but humanity offers lasting peace. As winter approached, I hosted a holiday gathering, friends, team, family blended. Under twinkling lights, toasts rang out. Riley raised his glass. To Claire, the visionary who chose heart over hurt. Cheers erupted. Standing on my porch later, stars infinite above, I felt whole. The West's endless horizon whispered, "True empires are built on forgiveness, not conquest."